if you will. You take that ticket and you go to the Margaretville event, and you go to their staff booth, and by returning that ticket, they will then give you a free t-shirt with the Catskill Getaway Giveaway logo. Again, trying to see what kind of numbers are going back and forth between the two events, and to try to keep the people in our region as best we can. Other than that, should announce anything else? The Prides of Shandaken and the Hamley Heroes. This year, the Prides of Shandaken were selected as Alexandria and Bob Stanley. The Hamley Heroes are Mary Beth and Devin Mills of the Peak Moose Restaurant, and William and Patricia Rudge of Oliveria. So congratulations to those folks, and we look forward to honoring them at the event. Other than that, I have nothing else. Public comments on the resolutions, I guess. Are there any comments on the resolutions before us tonight? No. Okay, we have one motion. I'll make a motion to hire Joseph Camperlino as an ambulance driver for the Town of Shandaken Ambulance Department at a rate of $51.96 per shift and $26.54 per transport.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Welcome aboard, Joseph. Again, we need to get your paperwork.
Was that part-time? Part-time or full-time? Just
Part-time. Part-time driver. It's only one. Start that.
Is that part
Well, we're on to resolutions.
Resolution number 87-14, resolution to pay all bills, whereas the Department of Audit and Control require town boards to sign and inspect all vouchers coming into the town for payment, to number and total amounts from each fund. Therefore be it resolved that the town board authorize the following vouchers paid. General, $35,829.21. Highway, $15,808.66. Phoenicia Water, $6,940.66. Pine Hill Water, 0. Phoenicia Lights, $1,080.53. Chichester Lights, $148.59. Pine Hill Lights, $607.11. I move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Bernstein?
Yes.
Board Member Higley?
Yes.
Board Member Storms?
Yes.
Supervisor Stanley?
Yes. Resolution 8814, resolution hiring town police part-time chief. Whereas pursuant to section 20 of the town law, the town board should designate all appointed officers and employees of the town. Therefore be it resolved that Chad Story being hereby is appointed part-time police chief for the town of Shandaken Police Department and hold office at the pleasure of the town board starting July 19th, 2014, and receive a bi-weekly salary of $769.23 for the remainder of the fiscal year 2014 while discharging the duties of said office, and move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Bernstein?
Yes.
Board Member Higley?
Yes.
Board Member Storms?
Can I say something? Okay, I just wanted to say that I thought all along that Chris Cosenza would be very good at this position, but after seeing everything that has come out about Chad, and I really, I thought that he would be really good too, and since I felt that everyone was voting for Chad, I just wanted to be on board with that, so I'm voting yes.
Supervisor Stanley?
Yes.
Resolution 89-14, authorizing contract with NYSEG and utility upgrades. Whereas the supervisor is seeking to use good neighbor funds to enter into a contract with NYSEG, New York State Electric and Gas, for utility upgrades in town buildings. Therefore, we have resolved that the town of Shandaken town supervisor be allowed to enter into a contract with NYSEG to upgrade utilities in the town building, and move its adoption.
I'll second.
Board Member Bernstein?
Yes.
Board Member Higley?
Yes.
Board Member Storms?
Yes.
Supervisor Stanley?
Yes.
Resolution 90-14, highway advertised for the heavy equipment machine operator, whereas pursuant to section 20 of the town law, the town board should designate all appointed officers and employees of the town. Whereas the town of Shandaken Highway Department is seeking a heavy equipment machine operator with extensive diesel machine mechanics background. Therefore be it resolved that the town advertise for before mentioned position. I move its
Second.
Board Member Bernstein?
Yes.
Board Member Higley?
Yes.
Board Member Storm?
Yes.
Board Supervisor Smith?
Yes.
Resolution number 91-14, parentheses 86-14, resolution supporting planning board hiring of attorney. Whereas under section 20 of the town law, it is the duty of the town board to appoint all employees of the town, and whereas the town of Shandaken Planning Board has requested an attorney to assist in legal matters, whereas the planning board has selected McCabe and Mack LLP, located in 63 Washington Street, Poughkeepsie, New York, at an hourly rate of $200 per hour as their preference at a meeting held on June 11, 2014. Therefore, be it resolved that the town of Shandaken reassert and supports this selection for the sole purpose of assisting the town planning board in legal matters. Move its adoption.
Board Member Bernstein?
Yes?
Board Member Higley?
Yes.
Board Member Storm?
Yes.
Supervisor Stanley?
Yes. Resolution 9214, resolution for renewal of town insurance. Whereas the town of Shandaken has Marshall and Sterling Insurance, 103 Executive Drive, New Windsor, New York, for the town insurance. And whereas our current policy terminates on July 15, 2014, therefore, be it resolved that the town board contract with Marshall and Sterling Insurance for discussion. What do you guys want? Again, I'll give you the numbers again if you didn't get it the first time. It's $81,279 plus some New York State fees, a couple of $100 for the annual renewal. Or we look at the short term for $35,243, and then we can address this in January with a full budget and closer to the time when we'll be getting these numbers. Again, our issue is that we're budgeting actually starting budgeting in September, October for something that we're going out to bid in the following July. We also have a number of programs that run throughout the summer. So what happens is we end up having to issue duplicate certificates of insurance because when the renewal comes, we have to send them again. Whereas we don't have many things going over the winter. Where in January, we could just send them all to the Ontario School, Bel Air Lake, things like that. We wouldn't have to worry about it again.
So is this to make it more fluid?
It'll make it more
seamless?
Make it more fluid. We used to do it in January many years ago, and we went to bid. For whatever reason, we ended up in July.
Is there any more cost to us or any less cost or any?
There's no penalty for doing a short term because we're ahead of the curve here and we're doing it at the time instead of while we're in the midst of the policy.
So it's the same price.
31st. So this will bring us to December 31st this year. So then in December, we would do a resolution to start our insurance policy. Well, right now, we would have to find approximately, $7,000, because we went from 72 last year to 74.5 this year in the budget, figuring on a small increase, but because of multiple lawsuits filed against the town, not because not that we would consider a lot of them legitimate even, but because the lawsuits are filed, it forces us to hold in bond so much monies, or so much protection in monies, and that's why our rate is increasing. We have a lawsuit that we can tell you about, the lawsuit concerning sewer drains, manhole covers owned by the DEP in Pine Hill, where it's not an action that we're taking, but the litigant seems to feel that we're responsible. We have other ones with a case with the ambulance up on Bel Air Mountain, where we're reported to have given service on the mountainside, which is not the case. That's Bel Air Ski Patrol. We get these all the time. We still have a litigation concerning a fence from a snowstorm many years ago that has been fought 3 times or 2 times already. So it is what it is, and that's where we sit. So 7,000, we could maybe find it here or there. Again, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel each year as we go with budgets. But we've accrued some savings right now. Patty and I reviewed the budget as of June 30th, and at the 6-month interval, we're actually ahead in revenues and below in expenses compared to last year. So we're a couple of grand ahead right now versus last year. That's not to say that, God forbid, a police car or an ambulance vehicle go down for a lengthy period of time or some major incident occurs. So If you guys want to go with doing the full term, that's fine. I'm just thinking that what Bob Stubbs is looking at is he wants to look more in detail with the Association of Towns has what they call NYMER, I forget, New York something insurance policy, that a lot of the towns, maybe New York Municipal Insurance Group. He feels that we could probably get a better deduction through them, using them as a carrier. So he wanted to look more deeply into that, and this would give him more than enough time to do that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I would vote for that.
Come December.
Yeah.
So let me change this, amend this last clause. Therefore, be it resolved that the town board contract with Marshall and Sterling Insurance for the coming period of July 15th, 2014 through December 31st, 2014. For a price not to exceed, I'm going to assume there's probably New York State fees, and that's also $36,000.
Second.
Have to exceed 36,000, and that's till December.
Yeah. It's a one-time payment. Again, I know on the, what he did is he presented the proposal, and on the note page, he gave us what the short-term policy would be, but I don't think it was broken out completely. He could break it out, but I'm almost certain that there was something on the policy stating New York State insurance fees. There's two things we have to pay to the state for filing insurance. So it's like $400 or something.
Board Member Bernstein?
Yes.
Board Member Higley?
Yes.
Board Member Storms?
Yes.
And Supervisor Daniels?
Yes.
Resolution 9314, resolution awarding transportation bids for summer recreation program and field trips. Actually, could somebody else? take
Yeah, I was
this?
just thinking that, resolution awarding transportation bid for summer recreation program field trips. Whereas the town of Shandaken summer recreation program will be taking 2 field trips during the coming season. And whereas the town advertised to receive bids for the following field trips: 2 school buses for round trip to and from the Ulster County Fair on Wednesday, July 30th, 2014. 2 school buses for round trip to and from Zoom Flume Water Park on Wednesday, August 13th, 2014. Therefore, be it resolved that the town of Shandaken Town Board award the transportation contract to, take it away, Jules.
We only got one bid.
One bid, shot.
Okay. Townsend Transit, Mount Trumper. Total price for both trips, $2,150.
Okay, so therefore, the town of Shandaken Town Board award the transportation contract to Townsend Transit, Mount Tremper, New York, for a price of $2,150 and move its adoption.
I'll second that.
Board Member Bernstein?
Yes.
Board Member Higley?
I'm going to recuse.
It's a relation.
It's my uncle, yeah, it's all this transit.
Board Member Storms?
Yes.
And Supervisor Daniels?
Yes.
Resolution 94-14, resolution appointing summer recreation counselors. Whereas under section 20, notes of decision 9 of town law, the town board shall appoint all employees of the town. Therefore, be it resolved that upon recommendation of the director and assistant director of the town of Shandaken Summer Recreation Program, that the following individuals be hired. Senior counselor, $225 a week, Gabrielle Harp and Daniel Rice. Returning counselors at $200 a week, Shalimar Santiago, Nicholas Grant, and Jessica Boyer. First-year counselor at $175 a week, Joe Rallier Jr., Rachel Harp, Megan Heidenberg, Campbell Fletcher, Derry Dreyer, David Petrie III, and Molly Bedhood. Please be advised that all paid counselors shall receive 4 hours compensatory pay for mandatory orientation as required under state law, and move its adoption.
Board Member Bernstein?
Yes.
Board Member Higley?
Yes.
Board Member Storms?
Yes.
Supervisor Sam?
Yes.
Resolution 95-14, resolution establishing town board special meeting. Whereas the town of Shandaken needs to conduct a town meeting pertaining to the proposed changes by the United States Postal Service for the Highmont and Big Indian post offices. Therefore, be it resolved that the town of Shandaken Town Board will conduct a special meeting prior to our next regular meeting at 6 p.m. on Monday, August 4th, 2014, with representatives from the USPS to discuss the future of said post office. I move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Bernstein?
Yes.
Board Member Higley?
Yes.
Board Member Storms?
Yes.
Supervisor Sam?
Yes.
And also, you haven't filled out a questionnaire, we do have the post office questionnaires up here regarding those two post offices, so if you just fill them out, that'd be great if you have it.
Resolution number 96-13, resolution appointing summer recreation director and assistant. Whereas under section 20 notes of decision 9 of the town law, the town board shall appoint all employees of the town. Therefore, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Shandaken appoints the following personnel: Rayla Susan Hart, recreational director, $600 weekly. Manuela Jean Pierre, assistant recreation specialist, $400 weekly, for the purpose of coordinating and managing the town of Shandaken's summer recreation program to run from Tuesday, July 8, 2014, through and including Thursday, August 14, 2014. Move to adopt.
Second.
Board Member Bernstein?
Yes.
Board Member Higley?
Yes.
Board Member Storms?
Yes.
Supervisor Sam?
Yes. That, we're on to opening public comment. Rick's Corner is the last show.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is old business, but I'd like to know what's going on with Sharp. Did you find anything out? Do we have any money there we can possibly get for?
We can't use those funds, that's for private landowners, for businesses.
All right,
and so on.
what's going on with them
What's going on with Sharp?
then? Sharp.
Sharp is still there, Sharp is still functional. The Shandaken revolving loan fund is still available for people. Buffy has now moved to a volunteer basis at Sharp and is doing that periodically on days when she has the time to go in. So, but the money is still there, Sharp is still working, there is still a Sharp committee.
I understand there's some outstanding loans though that they're not paying back. Has anybody checked into that?
There are outstanding, I understand that while I was away, or not in attendance at these meetings, it was explained that Sharp is becoming unsoluble, if you will, because of non-payment of loans. That is completely not true at all.
All right, that's what I
Yes,
heard.
there's always people that are late to pay or not paying, and Sharp is pursuing all the legal avenues that they can under the law in order to try to get those monies back. But it is a very soluble corporation, it's still there and continuing to work.
All right, on another note, we had heavy rain a couple of weeks ago, and the stream was coming up quite rapidly. And I'm just wondering, are we gonna be able to dredge some of these areas, like down on 28 across from Uncle Pete's, where the road's gonna be washed out? And on Plank Road, where the road's gonna be washed out, on the bend, and up in Shandaken, where the road's gonna be washed out, and up in on Broad Street Hollow, where the road's gonna be, are we gonna do anything with them?
Yeah, actually, Rick, next month, Eric and I already talked about, we're gonna have a resolution, we're gonna purchase a large D9 excavator and go right from the top, put some straight down through.
That's what has to be done.
And
Big Indian Oliveria.
we're also gonna contact the Germans, because they have great engineers, I heard. So,
But that,
Dusseldorf. I'm sorry. Yeah. I will explain. Again, I'm joking with you. Obviously, we are pursuing every avenue that we can to try to rectify the situation. I'll tell you right now that this New York Rising really held us up for quite some time. And then lo and behold, as we were waiting to hear, we went to, when was the conference, April? What we went to, and they said, start doing the work, we're gonna release, Rich was there, I mean, a bunch of people were there for me. Do the work, start moving, Faye was there, go ahead, go do it, blah, blah, blah. They still do not have the funding mechanism or how it's going to work. Are we paying up front? Are they reimbursing? It is not clear. I guess we're supposed to have some meeting coming up shortly. I had heard twice about us having a meeting this month, and that occurred in May and June, and that meeting never occurred. So we're waiting to see what's going on with those monies. As far as Phoenicia and Mount Tremper and Olivria specifically, we do have what's called an LFA program, a local flood analysis that we're going to be moving forward with in those areas to specifically have the guys that do this mapping stuff, the flood mapping. They will do their computer science, put it all behind it, move things, remove things, switch things around, see what has the most dramatic effect for the most cost beneficial and most environmentally protective way we can do this. To try to preserve and protect some more of the homes in Phoenicia and throughout the area. It's gonna take some time, but there will be meetings coming up. Specifically, we wanna have the meetings in those hamlets that they're relative to. So look forward to hearing about a meeting probably at the parish hall or the Phoenicia School coming up for Phoenicia. Mount Tremper, I'm not sure where we would hold it, maybe the same place, but
Mount Tremper's a disaster, so is McKinley Hollow.
I know McKinley Hollow is the area we're focusing on
That
too.
looks like
That's a difficult situation.
Yeah.
Yes, Ken.
Just to follow up on that, I'm glad to hear an update on New York Rising. Could you speak a little bit about the FEMA buyout program? I had been given to understand that FEMA monies have 75% funding to buy out people who are in the flood zone and in a hazard area, and that the DEP has offered to meet the remaining 25%, but that they haven't been receiving cooperation from the town board in Shandaken.
No, that's not the case at all. The
Okay.
town board has no involvement in that FEMA buyout. At least we were not notified of it.
So DEP doesn't need you to sign off on this in any
No,
way, or?
it's a program run through the state and it's run through the county. So Art Snyder would be the one to contact at the county level and speak to him directly. Last I spoke with him, there were 22 homes eligible for the purchase of the buyout. Our concern was what's going to happen with those properties once they're vacated from those homes, because under FEMA regulations, they will then become open forest, open wetland, if you will, or floodplain. Obviously, this is a concern for the town, a loss of tax base, but if this is what these people choose to do, ultimately, it's their property, and really, that's not much we can do. Hold on a minute. The other thing is that we've also, had a conversation with Art Snyder about certain parcels in Mount Tremper. I won't mention any specifically, but there are some parcels that could interconnect with the road that would be feasible for, say, a fishing access for the DEC or something along those lines that would provide something in that area for, at least some kind of economic benefit instead of it just being open land. Be some kind of attraction for the area, help build up that commercial district as well. Where that goes and whether that moves forward is up to the county. Again, all the county did was contact us and ask if the town was interested in taking those parcels over, and then we were like, no, we're not taking them, we don't need them.
Just to follow up on that, I think the recreational uses might be good, but also looking at maybe through the Ashokan Watershed Stream Management Program to construct some wetlands, because if it's just open space, it won't provide any flood mitigation. But if it's wetlands, some of those parcels might have some value that way. And if they don't have it now because they've been residential for a while, maybe that would take not that much money to build them into a floodplain protection program. So,
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you've been at some of the meetings, you know where we're at. Eric could probably talk about this. What's the irony being that FEMA, is so stringent with regulations sometimes. Olivria being a perfect case in point. There's a home in for a buyout alongside the stream by the McKinley Hollow Bridge. It kind of jammed us up on that proposal of a project that was gonna go on by Brown Road and McKinley, because FEMA was like, whoa, wait, we're buying this property. You can't change it, you can't disturb it once we buy it. And we're like, but wait, it's for flood mitigation. It's what you guys want us to do. Oh, this is complicated, because now I gotta go all the way across town over to this other stone arch building, blah, blah, blah. So who knows where it's going. But we will absolutely follow up with Ashokan Watershed and see what's possible.
Yeah, one thing I forgot to bring out, because of these situations, anything on the water now is 40, 50, 60% below what you could sell it for 3-4 years ago because of this situation. And it has to be addressed. You better tell the assessors, because they think everything is going up.
This really no, this is a federal program that's doing this.
Yeah, I know.
That's gonna create these increases. Again, Eric and I came to the planning board workshop the other night, explained to them in detail about what some of the concerns are for our community coming up with a number of homes. They have, prior to 1970, there was no flood map. So you have to look at the housing stock in the town of Shandaken and how much is there, what they call pre-firm or pre-flood insurance rate maps. And it is concerning, especially when you have areas like Phoenicia, like Alvaria, Bushnellsville, the Beaver Kill. Well, some of them were mapped and some weren't. That's the one that's really concerned because now all of a sudden they're mapped. And it shows this huge spread where before their approximate A zone that they had assimilated on that channel was basically within the channel itself. It didn't go far from it. But when you've got 60 homes that are going to be affected right away in Phoenicia, that's a dramatic impact in knowing, you know, you've got low-income people, you have senior citizens. Some of the people have paid cash for their house, bought them off in time. They don't have a mortgage, so they're not required to keep flood insurance. But at the same time, they need and deserve that protection so that they can receive those things in case a disaster does occur. But you're basically pricing them out of the market, even though you don't have a mortgage, because they will not be able to get a preferred rate policy. They're going to have to go for a full-on policy based on their first livable floor elevation. And as we explained at the planning board meeting, many of the first floor elevations are your basements. So your basement is going to be 8-10 feet below the flood level, which is going to dramatically increase your flood insurance rates by FEMA. So that's the way they do it based on elevation in relation to the flood.